I want to tell you why I am walking with this limp like I do. Why I want to get cosmetic surgery. Why I want to have longer arms, notably longer forearms. Okay? I used to think I was a good looking guy. And in fact, I had my share of girls hit on me back in the days, back in 1990 and before. But after 1990, incidentally, when I started losing my hair up front, ever since then, the only thing that ever hits on me now are gays. And I don't swing that way. I'll be your friend if you're gay, but I'm not into the gay lifestyle. Please, keep it away from me. I like females. 100% females only, please. Okay? On February the 18th, 1993, it was a long, painful road, but that was the day when I was finally forced to realize that I was not an above average good looking guy. It was a brutal, irrefutable rejection from a female whom I'd become infatuated with, a good looking female. You know, if I see her today, you know, we talk, we're friends, you know, but back then, whew, terrible rejection. Okay? In the spring of that same year, 1993, I saw a documentary, I think it was on 2020, where a guy was getting craniofacial reconstructive cosmetic surgery, and just seeing that it was possible filled me with a sense of renewed vigor and hope and excitement. Yes, maybe I could become a good-looking guy. Wow. You know, I was seeing at the Pizza Hut where I worked, where all of the other guys, especially my cousin Casey, wow, the girls, even to this day, the girls throw themselves at him. But every other guy but me was being noticed by the girls. I mean, I was just too plain, too average. And I would see myself reflection in the mirror at the mall, and it would make me so angry I would start to hit myself on this side of the face. Until one day, Mom was asking me about why I was bruising there. Well, I went to the doctor. I told everybody it was from taking hits and karate sparring. And so, you know, the doctor recommended no more karate fights. And I didn't tell them what was really happening. But anyways, I continued to see all the other guys noticed by the girls. While me, the only people who wanted to get with me were the gays. Not a very pleasant thing. Okay, February the 18th, 1994. I'm sorry. January the 15th, 1994. At LCC College, I was taking HRD class. You know, because I could never hold a job. I knew I wanted to get cosmetic surgery, and how I would raise the money, my thinking was I would someday get a job that I'd be able to keep, and I'd be able to save up enough to get the cosmetic surgery. my job record, my resume sucks. I've had a list of jobs as long as I wish my arm was that I've been fired from or that I've quit. Not one of my jobs have I been dishonorably discharged, so to speak, from. Now, I've got a long list of them too. But I was taking human resource development class. That was my first day, January the 15th, 1994. Well, I was in the restroom and I saw myself in the mirror. I did not like what I saw. The plainness, the averageness, the utter disgustingly, loathsomely averageness made me so angry. I would start hitting myself as hard as I could and looking at my face until suddenly it seemed to look more angular, more like, you know, Tom Cruise or a guy who I would assume was good looking to the girls. Well, I could still run back then. And I continued to do this every time I would see myself in a reflective object, whether it was a mirror, a spoon, a doorknob, my mom's shades. You'll be surprised at how many things you can see a reflection in. And I would try my darndest to not see myself. I stopped looking at myself in the mirror because if I did, I knew I would not like what I saw, and I would have to hit myself and look in the mirror until suddenly I looked more acceptable, more angular, my face. Well, and yes, I was co-captain of my volleyball team back in 1992, so I've never always been like this. See, this is my battle scar. I was in a life and death struggle, but I won. I was in a life and death struggle with myself. like a song I wrote called The Civil War Within, me, myself, and I at war with one another. See how I walk? This is the battle scar. Look at my right arm. It hangs limply by my side. It's useless compared to my left arm. And I'm right-handed. Can you believe that? Well, a friend of mine in the mall later that year asked me, "Why are you limping, Chris?" Now this puzzled me. And even one time in the Chick-fil-A after I hit myself a number of times, my vision in my right eye suddenly went slightly blurry. Just barely noticeably, but blurry for about 2 days or so. Could it have been a mini stroke? But I've had 3 MRIs ever since, and they said nothing's wrong with my head or my neck. Okay, it wasn't until 1997 when I found out that I could not run without falling on my face, literally. And my limp was at its worst. Who knows? Maybe it's worse now than it was then. But back then, I tried racing this girl. She's a lot shorter than me. She beat the crap out of me in the race, and I fell on my face and busted my face running. In 1999, my mom found out what I was doing, and she's like, "Oh, Chris, you need to stop. Look at what happened to Muhammad Ali. Please stop hitting your face." That scared the heck out of me, and I stopped. But I think it's a little too late. Okay, another thing, why do I want longer arms? What turns me, if the girl looks good, she gotta look good. If the girl has long arms, for some reason that is a turn on to me. But the real turn on is if I find that my arms are longer, namely the forearms. I've had girls that my forearms are longer than theirs, but their whole arm was longer than mine. That's okay, as long as my forearm is longer than the girl's. And look at this crap. I have a boatload of pictures on this YouTube that'll show where girls shorter than me have longer forearms than me. That pisses me off. I want to use a tool called Eliza Rob to lengthen my arms just a little. My forearms are about 3/4 of an inch longer. That'd be good. No more than an inch longer. There's no such thing as too long. It has to look natural. I want to get the bangs back I had back in early high school. Because in December of 1990, I started losing my hair in the shower. Started falling out in droves. I started taking, what is that? Minoxidil back in 1992, but all it did was give me a greasy scalp. Rogaine, that's what it was. Okay, in 1999, I started taking Propecia, and I take that to this day, and all it does is keep the hair from falling out even worse than it is. If I didn't take Propecia, I'd really look disgustingly forehead bald, and if that happens, or and I don't mean a slap on the wrist either, unless it's a slap on the wrist with a razor blade. I'm just being facetious, but I could never have the guts to kill myself, but I'm trying to make a point across to you. Okay? There's no way in hell, if I get a job, that I could raise the money for the cosmetic surgery. By the time I did, I'd be hopelessly old. The only way I can do it is with my songwriting and my rapping. That's the only hope I got. Reach out and grab, take control of the scene. Reach out and grab it, you know what I mean. Reach out and grab it, you wanna be it. Well, just reach out and take it. Just don't take no, don't you dare say it. Shh. You see a fine girl walking by, just shaking that. Don't you dare say it. Reach out and grab it, you just might get slapped, cause that's what you get. Next time, show some respect. Shh. That's just a sample of it. And even then, it's coming along slow as molasses. Will I ever be able to get the cosmetic surgery I need to be a hottie one day? Will I ever? I hope so. I swear to God I do. Will I ever get the longer arms I want? Will I ever get my hair? You see, I wish I want to look young again. I want to look 23. Not too long ago, people thought I was in my early 20s. Now, look at how old I look.